Life is this. I like this.
Crappie, dude.
Right.
It is a beautiful. This is a black, isn't it? Yeah, I can. That's white. It's
Welcome back. So I was thinking about, what do I do for the second video? I was talking to my buddy Trey about it, which I'm sure he's super enthused that everything he says to me turns into a video. But he said, just start from the beginning, Dave. Just start from the beginning. Start from the beginning of fishing. Start from the beginning of God. So when you say start from the beginning, scripturally, most seasoned Christians would say, the beginning would be Genesis 1:1, right? So I'm going to quote it. That's why I'm using this. It's not a note. I just want to be precise when it comes to the Word of God. So Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was formless and empty, and darkness covered the deep waters, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the waters. Or some would say the beginning would be John 1. So it'd be 1 through 5. It says, this is kind of a famous one. I'm sure you even heard this, even if you're not a seasoned Christian, which I'm not a seasoned Christian, if I'm being honest with you. In the beginning, the Word already existed. The Word was with God, and the Word was God. God created everything through Him, and nothing was created except through Him. The Word gave life to everything that was created, and His life brought light to everyone. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. These are powerful words. But when I think about in the beginning, I think about in the beginning of my spiritual journey, right? In the beginning of my spiritual journey, I thought, well, let me fix this before I come to God. Or let me, if you're drinking, if you're smoking weed, if, whatever the case may be, let me fix that before I come to God. Let me do this before I come to God. Well, I gotta finish, I'm not quite ready because I'm still sowing some wild oats. That, to me, it's important to know that God wants you to come to Him as you are right now. He wants you to come to Him through whatever you're dealing with, whether it be addiction or, maybe your lifestyle is not as clean as you would like it to be or what you think He wants it to be. He invites you to come to Him as you are right now. Just like I came to Him. I came to Him as a sinner. I guess we all do. We're all still sinners, right? But I came to Him through that, and I was at the time, like my personal thing is I was smoking weed, and I felt like I can't come to God because I'm smoking weed, or, things that are considered unholy, right? But God knows who you are, and He wants you to come to Him as you are now. And He's going to help you through the things that you think aren't right. He's going to help you through all of that. So in my opinion, I feel like He wants you to come to Him as you are right now. He invites you to come to Him as you are right now. Flawed, whatever the case may be, He wants you to come to Him. And get a Bible. Start with the basics. Give your life to God and start with the basics. Go get you a Bible. Read it. It's really that simple. I would suggest an NLT, which is a New Living Translation Bible. This one was actually gifted to me by my uncle, because I had started off reading NASB and the King James Version, which, although it is very very theatrical. I wouldn't say theatrical. I would say the vernacular in it is hard to follow, but it is very beautiful. It's like reading poetry. But if you're trying to understand what you're reading, it's not the easiest. And we could really get into a debate about which is the best translation. And I'm probably not the right guy to point to which is the best translation. But the NLT is more of a thought for thought translation, which makes it a whole lot easier to understand. You know, when you read it, you can comprehend what's going on. So that I think I would start there if I were you. But to each their own. Just like fishing, you know, the rod, the reel, the line, the type of hook you buy, like all this stuff is based on whatever you want, just the same way as the Bible is. Whatever translation you feel is the best for you is right for you. You know, don't let anyone tell you what to do, but NLT is a lot easier to understand. So that's why I would say start there. In the beginning would be rod, reel, line. What do I fish with, Dave? So let's start with the rod and the reel. I would start with a spinning rod and reel. I personally like a bait caster more because I can be more precise with it. But for like more finesse presentations, like a weightless worm, or like creature baits, curly tail worm, that sort of stuff. I prefer a spinning rod and reel. You can throw weightless stuff. So that's how I would start off. You don't really need a whole lot you don't have to learn a lot to run one of these. So I would do a spinning reel. I prefer an 8-pound line on my spinning reel because it's really sneaky. Like the fish don't see it as much. I need to fix this. This line is frayed. I've caught a lot of fish on this one. So the beginning would be rod and reel, line, 8-pound fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is super, super sneaky. Like they can't see it. And I prefer that. Again, it's all really, you'll find as you go through like certain lines and that's all personal preference. When I started off, I went straight braid. That's all I had was braided line, which is great, but it's not very sneaky. The fish can see it. So here in Oklahoma, our waters are primarily dirty, so I don't think it really matters, but I got to where I wasn't getting any bites in pressured waters. So little stuff like what line you use is really important. So I think I like a fluorocarbon. It's supposed to be nearly invisible under the water, so I feel like it kind of helps your chances a lot. So I do that, and then it comes down to like, okay, we're going to do like a basic Texas rig. The goal of this is just to kind of teach you the basics to get you out there fishing. So a Texas rig would be, I would just start with like a regular stick bait. I like Googan, but just like everything else, it's really whatever your preference is. Go to Walmart, go to your local tackle store, and look what looks good. My suggestion would be, because you'll start learning, like water color, clarity, all that stuff is gonna be what color you select. I would always go with the green pumpkin. Green pumpkin is dark enough for dirty water, and it's also natural enough for clear water. So I would start with, if you're like on a budget, I'd go get you a sack. These are green pumpkin purple worms, but I would go with like just a regular green pumpkin stick bait worm. And I go get you some 3 or 4/0 hooks. I personally like Trocar, just a really superior hook, and the barb on it kind of keeps them on. So I would do that. And then it comes into, well, how do we tie the line? I'm going to cut some of the fray out of this line. And get you a pair of pliers with a cutter, like line cutter on it. These are real tree, but your Walmart has them. You don't have to get anything crazy. That's one thing. People think you got to go spend all this money to go fishing. You really don't. If you're one of my friends, I probably spend a little bit too much money on fishing, but luckily not for me. No one's judging me. So it comes down to, now you have your rod, you have your line on here. A lot of times you can go buy it with it on there, so you don't have to deal with all of it, but comes down to, well, how do I tie it on there, Dave? Now I'll probably get a lot of flack from the fish community because I do one knot for pretty much everything. And some people say it's probably not the best knot to do it. There's people out there who say, oh, you do it this way, do it this way, do it. Again, it's all personal preference. But I can tell you from experience, I've been tying this knot since I was a little kid, and it has never failed me. Of course, I've lost fish, but everyone has. But you take your line. I'm going to try to get this to where you can see it. I don't know if you can. You put it through your eyelet, okay? Bring what's called the tag end out. I like to take the hook. Be careful, don't stick yourself, and put my finger right there in it. And you take it, and I wrap it 7 times. That's because 7 is a biblical number, but most people do 5. If you go the thicker the line, the less you have to wrap it. But I go 7 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now you have your tag in. You can see you have your loop here. I'm trying to get to where you guys can see that. And you want to lubricate this line so it doesn't burn, weaken it. So just lick it. You put that tag in through this loop. I grab it with my teeth. I grab the other end and I tighten it down. So now you can see. Let's see if you can see that. So now it's tightened down. You got this little extra piece hanging off. You take your clippers and you clip that off. I like to clip it almost all the way to the knot, but give it a little bit of room just in case that line cinches down on you. Because now you have your stick bait worm. These are 6-inch lumper logs. Most people use a 5-inch or a 4-inch. I like a 6-inch because it's a little bit more presence in the water. I feel like it gets their attention a little bit better. For those of us who are impatient and don't want to slowly fish, more presence is good. Now take the worm. So there's like a pointed end and there's a flat end. You take the flat end, you stick your hook about just enough to where it's going to probably about this much of it. I'm going to stick in. So like a centimeter. You stick it through and you pull it out. So now you bring this worm all the way up. You want to cover that eyelet. And then you kind of measure it. So here's where the hook is. We want it to poke out right here. So I'm going to mark that with my fingers. I'm going to take it, bring this worm up, bring it right through there. Just like that. So this is kind of a weedless, so you can really throw this anywhere. You know, if you go somewhere and there's a bunch of grass or weeds, like this is nice because you can see the hook is very flush. Right, so you're still gonna get caught up on some stuff, but you can really throw this anywhere. You take it, you throw it in the water, and I let it sink. Give it about 5 or 6 seconds, and then you give it a little pop. Pop it. And what that's doing is gonna create that worm's gonna come up, and you let it sink again. So you pop it a couple times, maybe like 1, 2. You can change the cadence, like however you really want to do it. The fish will tell you how they like it. So if they're not biting, maybe try 2 pops. Just pop it real quick and then let it float back down. And you want to just throw it all around. Okay, I'll try the deep. I'll try all the way down the bank. Most of the time, I like to throw parallel to the banks, especially in like the springtime, summertime. They're all up close to the shore. And I'm going to go more into fishing it in a video. Probably the next video, I'll probably go into really fishing it and some catches with the Texas rig. But I kind of wanted to just show you guys where to begin. And I feel like you could fish a Texas rig worm literally all year round. Now, of course, there's other ways to fish, but starting with the beginning, I think the Texas rig is just deadly. I mean, I would say Roland Martin says 90% of the fish, the bass fish caught are on a worm just like this. So that's where I would start, and it'll definitely get you catching fish. And like I said, green pumpkin is definitely a good color. And then if you wanted to, you can kind of get into adding weights. So before you tie your hook on, you put a weight there. But I feel like for ease of learning how to fish, I would do a weightless Texas rig stick bait worm and just pop it around. I think it's great. I've had a lot of fun. I've caught so many fish with this. That's where I would start. So like I said, the whole phrase of this is in the beginning. That's where I would start. Start with that and start with an NLT Bible and just start reading it. One thing I found about the Bible though, when I first started getting into it, I thought it'd be kind of boring. You know, that's kind of what I was raised thinking, that the Bible is boring. And I'm here to tell you it's not. It's pretty wild. You know, there's a lot of crazy things that happen in there, and they're all super motivational and neat. The Old Testament is wild. So I hope you guys go get you a Bible. Start reading it for yourself. Don't listen to what someone like me says. I would read it for yourself, the Word of God, and let it speak to you. And then go with a weightless Texas rig and a spinning reel. And like I said, I have this setup is kind of expensive, but you don't have to have an expensive rod and reel. Go to Walmart, get you a little combo and get out there. And if you find yourself like with a bunch of wind knots, try a monofilament line. It's a little easier to deal with. It's a little stretchier. I don't like it. I like it to have to where I can just barely set the hook and it's in there. But like I said, it's all personal preference. You'll find just like what type of worm, what type of hook you like to use. I mean, you're gonna figure out what you like and what works best for you. But go out and get you a stick bait worm. You don't have to get a Guggen one. You can get whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Go to your local Walmart. They're gonna have green pumpkin worms. They're gonna have some good hooks. I would go with 3 or 4-aught. I like a 4-aught because it's a little bit bigger. But like I said, that's personal preference. Get out there and go catch some fish. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And if you want a better video explaining how the nocks, I'm not very good at explaining these things. I'm not very good at working this camera. So if you want a better, more in-depth video, just comment down below and let me know. I can do like maybe just a video on that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to all this stuff, but that is, I feel like, the best way to just go out and go catch some fish, man. And you can definitely, like I said, you can catch fish all year round in this simple Texas rig worm. So without further ado, here's some fish catch videos. The next video series, I'll go into how to fish it, right? I'll show you how I do it, and I'll give you guys some fish catches using the Texas rig worm. But for now, just have some me fishing various ways and just catching some fish. See you guys next time.